Good morning.
Vladimer, we always start with just about 5 minutes of announcements so that as many people as possible can be with us when you begin. And there is no preparation for today other than the living of Vladimer's life with us. And so we'll get to that in a couple minutes. So I want to go ahead and open it to announcements. I have a couple things that I wish to mention. And one, we have a major compassion marketing campaign that's going to begin this coming Monday across the entire city. So you're going to be seeing billboards about compassion. You'll also hear radio spots on compassion. There's about 10-ish radio stations that are going to be doing announcements about Compassionate San Antonio, Compassionate USA. And so all of you are kind of in the know behind that, right? About what does that look like? And hopefully it'll be not only awareness, but a really great conversation starter. So I encourage you to start conversations. Then there's also going to be a series following that in news media, TV, of interviews with the compassion spokesperson, which is going to be the mayor. And so that's going to come, I think those start in August. Fascinating note to all of that, the Latter-day Saints. I was talking to one person there and telling them about this campaign, and they were like, we could do more billboards, right? And so that's kind of cool. Somebody's so excited about compassion, wanting to put more money that direction. So it's great, right? And that's how it's really, we're going to start reaching our shift happens, as Sonia and I say. That's how we're going to start to see that kind of tipping point with compassion. So it becomes really a daily word and community knowledge and skill training and that type of thing. I want to make sure that you all have Pathways to Hope Mental Wellness Conference on your calendars. It's the last Friday and Saturday in August. And now off the top of my head, I know it's in the 20s. I'm going to look real quick. I should be better at this, right? It's not the last one. It's the 23rd and 24th of August, 23rd and 24th. It's no cost, and it's a conference that put together by San Antonians for San Antonians. It's a community conference on mental wellness, which we definitely need to keep that conversation going. There seems like something else in my head. I did send all of you yesterday in a separate email about the White House briefings. These have been going on since the beginning of the Biden term, and they happen on Thursdays as well. I don't know, we must have just struck a good Thursday, but you might want to check one of those out today. You can then sign on to get e-notifications once you register. It doesn't cost anything. It's just a half hour. I kind of tease some folks up there that they, stole our idea, but who cares, right? And I think today is on Israel and Palestine and the border between Mexico and US. So it should be interesting, informative. So I sent that later yesterday. 8:05, any other quick announcements that we want to make sure everybody hears?
Good morning, everyone. I did share the Pathways to Hope link in our chat with the information where and when to register. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for doing that. So you can either click on that or do a quick copy paste, and again, no cost. And I hope to see you there. Anything else? All right. Well, then I'm going to turn this over. We're going to kind of just have a conversation. Some of you might remember last August, Vladimer came here from the country of Georgia, and as a Fullbright scholar. And he was partnered then, that scholarship was with Northwest Vista College, the Peace Center, and St. Philip's College. They're very active in Fullbright scholars. And he can tell us a little bit more about that, but his specialty is kind of like one of ours, but interreligious and interfaith dialogue and workings together. Came to share what he knows, but also to learn from us. And then I put in the notification yesterday that some things changed in his home country. And his year finished with us, I think, at the end of May, but he's still with us. So really want to hear that part of your story this morning, Vladimer. Could you, though, just quickly tell us, love to hear kind of a summary from your year and working with us as a Fulbright scholar, and maybe what was the most significant learning that you had while you were with us? So not to put you totally on the spot, but kinda. So thank you for saying yes to being with us this morning, Vladimer.
Thank you, Anne. Good morning, everyone. It's a huge pleasure for me to join you again, the great team, and to have this wonderful opportunity to speak and share my experience and some of my probably thoughts as well about the country, about the situation. As you know, this is not the easy life now in the part of the country where I come from. But I can talk a little bit later about this. I want to exactly share my experience, a year experience here in this wonderful city, San Antonio, as a Fulbright scholar. Worked with Northwest Vista College and St. Philip's College, and in particular, sharing my thoughts about some of my academic activities and some kind of researches that I have done during the time of period. And the last almost a year ago, where I started my Fulbright project, this program here in San Antonio. It is on my mind now which and what kind of activity should I put in a first place, but I think I can go through and just talk a little bit about my project and peace and the conflict study at Northwest Vista College and the Peace Center. Well, it was a great opportunity for me to have some occasion to deliver the lecture about the religion, about the religion and politics and the conflict studies. In particular, the region where I observed as my main academic interest, which covers the particular geography of the eastern part of the Europe. In more detail, this is the Ukraine, Russian, and some countries consisting of the Caucasian countries, including Georgia and Armenia and Azerbaijan, and the situation, what is going on in that particular region. So how religion can be a sort of instrument for the politicians or politics, and how does the conflict in Ukraine embrace the religion as part of, or core part of the so-called the informational war against Western civilization, against the Western culture, and how the church, which is the Moscow Patriarchate, and the Patriarch Kirill helps the Putin's ambition to make Russia as a separate and totally probably different place culturally and civil in terms of the civilization from the most of the European and Western civilization. And that was almost the main focus of my talk during the years in different places, including the Northwest Vista College and the universities like Schreiner University, and also the St. Philip's College. And I would also want to mention my project at Baylor University in Waco, where I spent almost 8 months and end of the research project that I implemented back to February, January and February. At the end of the project, I had a chance to be participated into the panel discussion on the same topic, actually. Again, it is how religion plays a role in politics in today's world, and I was pleased to just got this chance to speak a little bit also about my country, the Republic of Georgia, and to talk it past and its relationship with Russia from the historical perspective up to the modern time, and to see how the religion and how the also the contemporary government of Georgia is aligned with closely, I would say, with the Russian politics and with Russia, rather than got its this kind of duty to what we say the constitutional responsibility also to continue his path, the country's path toward the Western countries, Western institutions, and that is probably the most problematic aspect of the situation, which getting and just recently, almost 2 months ago, it started in Georgia, and the government expressed themselves as more loyal with the Russian policy and the Russian the kind of going the path to the obeying the Russian direction, and rather than they continue this Western the so-called integration policy. Yes, this is a very brief overview of my activities here in this country as a Fullbright scholar, and I had a chance also to speak with the audience at the Interfaith Alliance of San Antonio, and to share my experience as a theologian, speaking with the interreligious dialogue and its importance for the contemporary world. And I was trying to explore a little bit the Georgia's rich culture of the dialogue policy, including the religious aspect of the dialogue, and how these helped to form kind of tolerant culture in Georgia, back to the history, but how it also changed during the Soviet time and became a little bit very harsh in terms of the alienation or the links or relationships between the major religious groups, such as the Orthodox Church of Georgia and the rest of the other religious communities and churches, and even the Abrahamic religions, such as Judaism and Islam. And all this new policy, what I call the Soviet policy of the country, that aims to just worsen the connection between these important institutions, such as the Orthodox Church and the rest of the other minority groups in the country. So I was trying a little bit to explore the reasons why the modern government of Georgia, including the church hierarchies, are continuing the policy which I called and labeled as a Soviet policy, and its content, which mainly deal with the policy to use the religion as a tool of the politics in the modern world, and to strengthen the Orthodox Church as a major religious group, but not only religious group, but also kind of political instrument for the government, for the state, and that is the main reason that the churches like the Orthodox Church, similarly to the Russian Orthodox Church, in Georgia, Orthodox Church does not really express a willingness to have kind of equal based relationship with the rest of the religious groups and religious minorities in the country. And I was trying to explore a little bit deeper this phenomena in my country and the reason why it happened, and what might be the outcome of this kind of relationship, and how this relationship inclined the country toward the Russian-style politics rather than the Western European or Western-style society formation, which based on the dialogue and interreligious connection on the society.
You know, Vladimir, so it's amazing all the work and how important it is that there are not only people exploring this, right? and these, why do we do this and what could we learn from each other, because that's how we also evolve and transform and help each other. But and even more important, I hope now that you share with us the reason you're not going back to Georgia right now. The end of your scholarship was the end of May, and you've been apart from your wife and young child for this academic year. Talk about religion and politics, but what's happening there now that is causing you to stay in the United States? And could you tell us about that? What steps are you taking? And more importantly, I'd also hope that you'd share with us how that makes you feel. We can be so detached from different things in our world because maybe we're not experiencing them. And so it's, I think, just critical to the work of compassion, to being humans, that we at least know of people who are going through struggles. So if you could share with us what's happening politically in Georgia, how that's impacting you, and how that makes you feel as a human.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question. I think it's the Georgia is like a small country, but it deserved lots of attention from the world media outlets back to 2 months time, and everybody could probably follow up this information. What is sometimes the part of the Washington D.C. official speakers and media outlets like CNN or BBC or Reuters and many others. And because the situation getting worse in the country, and the government of Georgia decided to pass the law, which is known as the Russian law, because it got its resemblance in its content, resemblance with the Russian law, which passed in Russia in 2012. That's the one aspect, and the another aspect is that the Georgian people, Georgian opposition party, and also the Georgian academia called it the Russian law, because the main focus of the law, which has already been passed and it's in power, the main purpose of this law is to restrict the free media, free speech in the country, and to control over not only the organizations like the NGOs or media organizations in the country, but also the civilians and the persons which might be the kind of interest from the countries, from the state, by his or her religious or sexual identity, or any kind of very personal identity. The information that might be not acceptable for the state's policy, and this all gives us the conviction, and by saying that the law is intending to make the country more closer with the dictatorial or authoritative the governance of the country, which is basically the directives coming from the Russia and Russian state, rather than it has any link with the Western political or cultural or legal, even the legal framework. And this is, I think, this is a reason that Georgian society and the Georgian people are made angry, and they protested during the 2 months now. Throughout the period of 2 months, they protesting the law, and the thousands and protesters came to the streets, and they made they made a claim to take the back of the law, which the Georgian Dream, this name of the political party, and which governs Georgia in recent time, and the society claimed to take back the bill and change the policy, which had intended to make the country in a risk that they could probably lose the opportunity to integrate to European institutions, including the European Union and NATO. But the government of Georgia declined, and they almost, as I earlier mentioned, the law has been passed, and is in power now. So this is a main reason that the people inside of the country, and the politicians and some experts outside of the country, like in the United States and many other European institutions and politicians, evaluate the ongoing situation in Georgia as a dramatic and very serious decline from its historical root, which is a Western integration policy. And
Vladimer, I hate to totally interrupt, but
no, that's
one, I'm just going to take a pause. It's 8:29, and I hope you can stay with us. I'm going to keep the Zoom open till 1:45, so we have another 15 minutes. Those who have to leave us to go on to other things, thank you for being with us. Next week, we're going to hear from the food bank's person there on nutrition and wellness. They have so much going on in the food bank, but we're going to be hearing from nutrition and bringing, good food into our city and what that means for all of us. After that, we're going to start a series this summer on hearing from all the collaboratives we've formed over these last 7 years and get an update how those have grown and integrated into our overall system. So speaking of systems, if I understand correctly, Vladimer, this latest bill on federal agents, is that the right term?
Foreign
Yes.
agent.
Foreign agents, thank you. I got my F's confused. Foreign agents, thank you. That basically, and I know this is a generalization, but generally equates to being a spy, so that people who are working with, like you being here, working with other folks beyond, like with the European Union or with the United States, that you would be considered then a foreign agent. So you're still here. Is that the reason you're still here? And then what does that same thing do for your wife who is there with your child and working for an embassy? But I know that the dreamers are looking for, that democracy and to be, participating with the world at large. But what does this kind of move physically mean for you in your life?
And thank you so much. This is a great remark by make this comparison between the word's foreign agent and the spy. Actually, the previous version of the bill, in the previous version, there was a word used as a spy rather than the agent. And this was the intention of the government to claim that anyone who is the kind of Western minded, or just doing the business, or just making the projects which might be funded by the Western institutions, and got the budget and income more than 20%, they should be declared as a spy of the foreign countries. As a spy of the foreign countries, I want to emphasize this. But in the first version of the bill was changed because of the huge protest on that particular aspect of the title of the bill. And afterward, the government changed this and shifted a little bit the mold, so-called, the version, and they say, okay, right, they are not the spy, but they are the agent. But in reality, it doesn't make any sense, to be honest with you, because in the societies now, in the Western countries, probably the agent can be like the representative of any organizations, with those that are working on the organizations and doing some kind of business. But in the experience that the easternmost and the eastern countries has during the Soviet era and the Soviet time, the agent and the spy is utterly the same meaning word, and it doesn't make any sense. And if the government called you the foreign agent, that meaning is that you are representing the countries which is foreign countries. But again, the most important thing here is that the government of Georgia now intentionally make the statement that the foreign countries, like the most Western European countries and the Western countries, are the enemies of the Georgia. So if you just make this connection between first part of my sentence and the second part, the meaning is that if you are a foreign agent, you are the agent of the enemies of the country of Georgia.
So what does that mean, though, specifically for you? If you were to go back now, what could happen?
And if anyone, including me, including anyone who has a Western sort of the experience of working with the Western institutions and the Western background, the meaning is, if I go back to my country and they easily called us and me and all and my friends, probably those that have the same sort of experience, they called it, you are the agent or spy of the foreign countries like the America. And it is is very painful now. The oligarch, I should mention his name here in this that guy got the opportunity here. His name is Ivanishvili. Ivanishvili, in his official speech in 29th of April, couple of times he mentioned the term like the global war party. And this is a kind of expression that the Georgian government now used it intensively in the official speech. And in this term, the global war party, they meant probably the United States. So I could not expressly, I could not insist it, but everyone who listened this, they got the impression that Ivanishvili and all his members of the government, in that term, the global war party, they meant the United States. And it was also the same expression about 2 days ago when Sergei Lavrov from the Russian officials, and we know the name of the Sergei Lavrov, he also used exactly the same quotation of the world, the global world war party. And Sergei Lavrov also implies this by explaining that the war in Ukraine is provoked by the World War Global Party. And
so if you went back, Vladimir, could you be arrested, or what might happen to you?
And it is not easy to predict that what the government or even the style of governance in Georgia, they are going to just use the kind of politics. But this is all kind of possibilities probably that they persecute the life for the people like I am, and they persecute the people from any basis that those have the Western the education, and they got a Western connection with the Western institutions.
So there is a risk. We've got just a little over 5 minutes left, and I want to make sure that people have an opportunity to ask questions or make comments, to have conversation with you. We've got some hands up. So Peter, your hand is up, and then Sharon.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. And thank you, Vladimir, for sharing. And I had the privilege of meeting you. Thank you for coming out to the Sanitary 9/11 Memorial back in September. It was a pleasure to meet you in person, and appreciate the great work that you've done, and for sharing the story so relevant. And a couple of questions. One involving the electoral process there, because as you know, our country is going through an electoral process right now, and they say elections have consequences. And just curious about that change in the policy. How long has that administration been in place, and what's the process in changing it for potential of being able to, the worst thing that can happen and what we pray against is a civil war, and that's, we experienced a civil war here in this country years ago. And it's always, there's always potential for that when you have such divisiveness and this type of regime that's coming into place. So that's my first question, is that. And the other is yourself, and what denomination do you affiliate with as far as faith? Because I heard you talk about the Orthodox Church there, and their, from what I understood, unwillingness to connect with the other faith community, which is part of your work of trying to bridge that. So those are the two questions, one on the electoral, and the other your personal denomination.
Well, thank you so much, Peter. And thank you for again, your great hospitality and invitation on last September on a Memorial Day. And I really enjoyed being a part of your great community. And thank you so much for that. As part of the question, the second question, I myself declare the Orthodox and Christian Orthodox. But when I say that I'm Orthodox, well, many people probably assimilate this, the Russian Orthodoxy. But I want to emphasize here that my main point and my religious affiliation is more a Byzantine style of Orthodoxy, which is represented by the Constantinople Patriarchate and its policy and its doctrinal teaching and its approaching to the rest of the world and the religious communities in the world, which is, I would say, the more open-minded and oriented with the dialogue policy that I call the interreligious dialogue. So this is a totally different approach from the Russian Orthodox Church, and by the influence of the Russian Orthodox Church, also the Georgian Orthodox Church has a kind of painful influence from the Russian. But my point of view again is that I'm Orthodox. I belong to the kind of Byzantine style, Byzantine policy of the Orthodox churches, which is represented by the Constantinople Patriarchate and its policy and its doctrine. And the first question is about the election of the country, if I understand it correctly.
Yes.
Well, yes, this is a concern probably for probably the people that is what, if I understand it's correctly, the policy of the country and its election. And I know how important it is for this great country, America. And I would like to say that I want to maintain the policy that the Biden's administration has regarding to the global policies outside of the country, including the Ukraine.
But if I could, Vladimir, it was more toward Georgia's process. Do you have an election coming up? I guess is what I meant to say.
Oh, sorry. Okay. This election, yes, sure. Well, this election, which is coming on the October, in the next probably 5 months' time, and this expectation that the Georgian dream, so what is the name of the political party, is going to again manipulate the election process as they have done it before many times, and the main instrument of the manipulation is resources that they have, including the money that the oligarch Vladimer Narsia always put in the election process, and that is what we called it. They are buying the election. So that is my prediction, probably the expectation that the next election also would be the big risk of the democracy in the country, and the government will do everything to maintain the power.
We have one more question. Thank you, Peter. And we're right at 8:45, but we're going to hear Sharon's thoughts and questions all the way from Canada.
Yeah, well, I just needed to say hi to you, Vladimir.
Thank you so much.
You know, as you know, my ancestors are Georgian, and I know that my grandfather always used to be so proud of being Georgian. And I just want to salute you on your path, and really, really wish you well with what you're doing. And may the spirit of the Georgian people prevail and bring good. Thanks.
Such a great note. Thank you, Sharon. So thank you, Vladimir, for being among us this whole academic year, for being the heart that you are and the spirit and soul. And you know how to find all of us, and you know that we're here for you. So whatever you need, we're here. And we can say that to everybody on this screen. So thanks for being in relationship with us here at the intersection between our individual lives and how we exist on this planet together. It really is a small world. And the more we know of each other and the more we know of it, the more we can participate in our way and in our own space. So thank you all for being with us. Thank you, Vladimir.
Thank you
We will
so
see you next week. You can come, Vladimir. We'll put you on the list, and you can come every Thursday morning to the intersection, just like Sharon does, all the way from Canada. So thanks all.
Thank
You
you.
have
Bye-bye.
great
Bye.
Thank you.
weekends,
Thank
and
you.
we will see you hopefully next week at the intersection.